Magnus! I'm sorry.
What if I told you that the X-Men didn't stop Apocalypse? They actually helped create him. That's exactly what happens in X-Men 97 Season 2 Episode 4, where one shocking decision after another completely changes the timeline forever. We finally get the truth about Rama Tut's connection to Kang the Conqueror. We witness Sabah Nur's transformation into Apocalypse, and the episode ends with a heartbreaking death that no fan saw coming. But that's not all, because the mid-credit scene also sets up Wolverine's next mission and hints at the return of one of Marvel's most iconic teams. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. So in this video, we're going to break down the entire episode, explain every major twist, hidden comic reference, and that emotional ending. Trust me, there's a lot to unpack, so let's jump right into it.
Magnus, you are a prophet of lies!
The aftermath of Rama Tut's attack. The episode picks up immediately after Rama Tut unleashes that devastating energy blast on the battlefield. For a moment, it looks like nobody could have survived. But once the dust settles, we discover that Magneto managed to shield the X-Men with one of his magnetic barriers. Unfortunately, that protection wasn't enough to save everyone. Bale and the Sandstormers are gone, and their deaths hit Sabah Nur incredibly hard, because these were the people who had believed in him despite years of slavery and suffering. Naturally, Nur is furious. From his perspective, the X-Men lied to him from the very beginning. They claimed to be allies, yet they were secretly after Rama Tut's technology. It looks like another betrayal, and after everything Nur has experienced under Rama Tut's rule, it's easy to understand why his patience finally runs out. Bishop immediately tells everyone that they've done enough damage already, and it's time to leave this timeline before things get even worse. But Magneto isn't ready to abandon the mission. He still believes that changing history is worth the risk, especially if it means preventing tragedies like the massacre of Genosha. Xavier steps forward before the situation explodes into another fight and calmly asks Nur to hear the complete truth. Instead of defending himself, Xavier admits that they weren't completely honest and explains that they're stranded in the past, desperately searching for a way back home. Surprisingly, Nur agrees to listen. He warns Xavier that this is their final chance, and if he catches them lying again, there won't be any forgiveness. That single decision changes the direction of the entire episode.
Mein Gott, what have you done?
Magneto makes a dangerous choice. While Xavier speaks privately with Nur, the rest of the team argues over what to do next. Bishop is furious that Magneto even considered working alongside someone destined to become Apocalypse. Nightcrawler agrees with him and says they're playing with forces beyond anyone's understanding. Time itself is already unstable, and every decision they make could create another disaster. Then Rogue reveals what's truly motivating her. She admits that if changing history could somehow prevent the tragedy of Genosha, then maybe Gambit could still be alive. This isn't just about fixing history anymore. For Rogue, it's personal. She isn't thinking like a soldier. She's thinking like someone desperate for another chance with the person she loves. Magneto sees that pain immediately. Having lost countless people himself, he understands exactly why Rogue can't give up. Beast suggests putting the decision to a vote, but Magneto never waits for permission. In one shocking move, he destroys Bishop's time bands, eliminating their easiest path home. Everyone is stunned. Bishop realizes they're now trapped thousands of years in the past unless they continue chasing Rama Tut. Magneto argues that he hasn't stranded anyone because Rama Tut's advanced technology can still send them back to their own era. All he's done is remove the option of giving up. It's a risky decision, but it perfectly reflects Magneto's character. He has always believed that history only changes when someone is willing to take impossible risks. Xavier learns the truth about the temple. After hearing Xavier's explanation, Nur begins trusting the X-Men once again. Xavier then mentions something that has been haunting him ever since entering Logo's mind earlier in the season. He saw a mysterious temple connected to incredible cosmic energy, and somehow that same place appears to be tied directly to Nur's destiny. To understand more, Xavier asks permission to enter Nur's mind. What follows is one of the episode's most emotional moments. Xavier experiences Nur's painful childhood firsthand. He witnesses the years of slavery under Rama Tut, the suffering, the hopelessness, and the endless abuse that shaped the young mutant's view of the world. But among those terrible memories is one strange vision that stands apart from everything else. Nur remembers seeing a mysterious constellation shining over the desert sky. Xavier immediately recognizes it because he saw the exact same stars while exploring Logos memories. Nur explains that this constellation is known as the Gardener's Gaze, and it points toward an ancient temple hidden somewhere beyond the desert. Believing that this temple holds the answers they need, the entire group follows Nur toward its location.
Answer me!
the hidden temple, and Kang's warning. Eventually, they arrive beneath the strange constellation. At first, nothing appears to be there. Then, as they continue walking, reality itself seems to shift around them. It's almost like they're passing through an invisible wall. Suddenly, an enormous hidden temple appears before them, existing inside its own isolated pocket dimension. Since everyone is exhausted from constant fighting, Magneto decides they'll rest before exploring the temple the next morning. During the night, Rogue shares a surprisingly heartfelt conversation with Nur. She tells him that despite all the pain he's experienced, she hopes he someday finds someone to love because love has the power to heal even the deepest emotional wounds. It's a beautiful moment because Rogue genuinely believes compassion can save someone before hatred consumes them. Unfortunately, someone else has different plans. While the others sleep, Ramatut secretly uses advanced psychic technology to enter Xavier's mind. This is where the episode finally confirms something Marvel fans have known from the comics for years. Ramatut reveals that he is actually a variant of Kang the Conqueror. The revelation isn't just fan service. Kang explains that he already knows Nur's future. He knows this slave will eventually become Apocalypse, one of history's greatest threats. That's exactly why he's kept Nur imprisoned for so many years. He hoped endless suffering would eventually break Nur before destiny could transform him into Apocalypse. At the same time, Kang has been studying the Celestial Temple because he wants its incredible power for himself. He offers Xavier a choice: either convince the X-Men to help him unlock the temple's secrets or stay out of his way. Xavier refuses immediately. Before disappearing, Kang leaves Xavier with one chilling warning: every version of this story always ends the same way. No matter how hard the X-Men try, they always fail.
This is why you came to me. Not to help me, but to stop me.
The birth of Apocalypse begins. The following morning, the X-Men finally enter the ancient temple. Inside, they discover an enormous statue of the Celestial Eson. Beast quickly notices that the entire structure is overflowing with unimaginable energy, exactly the kind of power they need to construct a way home. Believing they can cover more ground by splitting up, the team separates into two groups, but almost immediately, Beast notices something terrifying. The temple isn't actually a temple at all. It's ship, the living celestial vessel that Apocalypse will one day command. The horrifying realization hits everyone at once. They've unknowingly brought Sabah Nur to the exact place where his destiny is waiting for him. Beast desperately rushes to stop him, but it's already too late. Drawn by an invisible force, Nur reaches a mysterious chamber where glowing symbols cover the walls. These ancient markings reveal the future that the X-Men have been hiding from him. He finally understands why they're really here. They never came simply to escape the past. They came to stop him from becoming Apocalypse. Feeling betrayed once again, Nur ignores everyone's pleas. Xavier tries to explain that they were only trying to save countless lives, while Bishop begs him to walk away before it's too late. Magneto, Rogue, and Nightcrawler all attempt to physically stop him, but Nur has already made his choice. At the center of the chamber, a mysterious crystal begins calling to him. The moment Nur reaches out and touches it, a powerful cosmic voice echoes throughout the temple. It's Eson. The Celestial tells Nur that every ending creates the possibility of a new beginning, and that true evolution demands destruction before rebirth. Bathed in overwhelming celestial energy, and Sabah Nur accepts his destiny, and in that unforgettable moment, the future changes forever, and Sabah Nur becomes Apocalypse. The transformation is complete, and within seconds, everyone realizes they failed. The one future they traveled through time to prevent has now become reality, and Sabah Nur is no longer the hopeful young mutant they met in ancient Egypt. Standing before them now is Apocalypse, stronger than ever and empowered by the celestial technology hidden inside ship. Beast arrives carrying the repaired time bands and immediately tells everyone that there's nothing left to save here. The mission is over. Their only chance now is to return to the 1990s and prepare for the apocalypse waiting in their own timeline. For once, Bishop completely agrees. From the very beginning, he warned everyone that changing history was dangerous, and now his fears have come true. Every second they spend in the past only creates more damage. But Rogue refuses to leave. She believes the X-Men caused this disaster, and because of that, they have a responsibility to stay behind and fix it. Even after watching Nur become Apocalypse with her own eyes, she still believes there has to be another way. She can't accept that all of this suffering was inevitable. That immediately divides the team. One side wants to escape before things become even worse, while the other wants to keep fighting despite the impossible odds. And once again, Magneto makes the decision for everyone.
I would bring you home, old friend.
Magneto chooses sacrifice over survival. Without waiting for another argument, Magneto activates the repaired time bands and sends the rest of the team back toward their own era. His decision isn't based on fear, it's based on responsibility. Magneto believes this entire catastrophe happened because of the choices he made. He was the one who insisted on trusting Nur. He destroyed Bishop's original time bands. He refused to abandon the mission when everyone else wanted to leave. If anyone deserves to stay behind and face Apocalypse, it's him. He plans to fight alone, but things don't go according to plan. Just before the portal closes, Apocalypse unleashes a massive burst of power that prevents Xavier from escaping. Suddenly, Charles and Magneto are the only two X-Men left in 3000 BCE, standing against the birth of one of Marvel's greatest villains. For a brief moment, Apocalypse doesn't even acknowledge them. Instead, he turns his attention toward the one person who truly shaped his life, Rama-Tut. Apocalypse finally comes for Kang. After gaining the Celestial's power, Apocalypse wastes absolutely no time. He takes control of Ship, the gigantic celestial vessel hidden beneath the temple, and launches it into the sky. His destination is Rama-Tut's floating citadel. Everything suddenly comes full circle. The slave has become the conqueror, and now he's returning to destroy the tyrant who spent years torturing him. Meanwhile, Rama-Tut immediately realizes the situation has become impossible to control. Throughout the episode, he believed he could manipulate destiny. He thought he could use the X-Men, study the celestial technology, and somehow stop Apocalypse from ever existing. Instead, every one of his actions pushed Nur closer toward becoming exactly what history always intended. Realizing he's lost, Rama-Tut boards his time-traveling vessel and escapes into the time stream before Apocalypse can reach him. This scene is especially exciting for longtime Marvel fans because we finally see Rama-Tut embracing the classic Kang imagery. It's a reminder that despite hiding behind the identity of an Egyptian pharaoh, he has always been one of Kang's many variants. Before leaving, he also refers to Kandra as an external, another clever callback to classic X-Men mythology that longtime fans will immediately recognize. Magneto's last stand. Even though Kang escapes, Apocalypse isn't finished. Ship begins generating an enormous gravitational anomaly above the city, threatening to wipe out everything below. At this point, Magneto proves once again why he's one of Marvel's greatest heroes, even if he never calls himself one. Without hesitation, he uses every ounce of his magnetic power to wrap Apocalypse inside layers of metal, launching him away from Ship just long enough to stop the attack. Then Magneto makes one final move. He redirects the entire celestial vessel straight into the massive black hole forming above the city. The collision destroys Ship's attack and saves countless innocent lives, but the effort comes at an enormous cost. The explosion throws Magneto across the battlefield, leaving him badly wounded and barely able to stand. Xavier rushes to his oldest friend's side. For just a few quiet seconds, it feels like they actually survived. After decades of friendship, rivalry, betrayal, forgiveness, and endless ideological battles, Charles and Eric finally share a rare moment of peace. Sadly, it doesn't last. Apocalypse kills Magneto. Without warning, Apocalypse rises from the destruction completely unharmed. The attack that nearly killed Magneto accomplished almost nothing. Standing before the exhausted mutants, Apocalypse demonstrates just how unstoppable he has become. Before Xavier can react, Apocalypse strikes. Magneto is completely obliterated. There isn't some dramatic final speech. There isn't a heroic goodbye. It's sudden. It's brutal, and that's exactly what makes the moment so heartbreaking. For years, Magneto believed he could reshape history through sheer determination. He refused to accept destiny. He challenged fate at every opportunity. In the end, fate wins. Xavier is left standing alone, forced to watch the death of the man who had been his greatest rival, closest friend, and ideological opposite for most of his life. It's one of the saddest moments X-Men 97 has delivered so far.
Only a coward feels mighty.
Why Apocalypse leaves Xavier alive? One question many fans immediately asked is why Apocalypse kills Magneto but spares Xavier. There are a couple of interesting possibilities. The simplest explanation is that Xavier no longer poses an immediate threat. Magneto was still fighting until the very end, while Charles had already lost everything. Leaving Xavier alive allows him to carry the emotional burden of failure, but there's another possibility. Throughout the episode, Xavier genuinely tried to understand Nur instead of simply defeating him. He entered his mind. He listened to his suffering. He believed there was still good inside him, even after everything happened. Apocalypse may still recognize that Xavier treated him with more compassion than anyone else ever had. Whether that tiny piece of humanity still exists inside Apocalypse remains to be seen, but his decision to spare Charles definitely feels intentional.
I'm sorry. We couldn't stop him.
Back to the present. The final battle awaits. Not long after Magneto's death, Bishop returns using the repaired time travel technology and brings Xavier back to the present. There is no reason to remain in ancient Egypt anymore. History has already been written. The apocalypse of the past now exists, and the future version of Apocalypse is already waiting in the 1990s. Everything the X-Men feared is finally happening. Their mission to change history didn't erase the future. It created the exact future they were trying to avoid. That makes Apocalypse's origin even more tragic because, in many ways, the X-Men themselves became part of the story that forged him.
Don't worry your pretty feathers, Cap. I got myself a crew.
The mid-credits scene explained. Just when the episode seems finished, Marvel gives us one more surprise. We see Wolverine meeting Captain America and Black Widow. Captain America hands Logan a classified Weapon X file and offers government assistance with whatever mission he's planning. Logan politely refuses. Instead, he says he already has the old band ready to help him. This little conversation raises some fascinating possibilities. The biggest mystery is the Weapon X file. Ever since Magneto ripped the adamantium out of Wolverine's body, Logan has been fighting without the metal skeleton that made him nearly unstoppable. Against someone like Apocalypse, that's a huge disadvantage. It's possible Wolverine wants to undergo another Weapon X procedure and regain his adamantium before the final battle. Then there's the phrase "the old band." Most fans don't think he's talking about the X-Men. He's probably referring to Alpha Flight, the Canadian superhero team closely connected to Wolverine's early comic history. If that's true, Season 2 could finally introduce Alpha Flight into the X-Men 97 universe, something comic fans have wanted for years. Ending explained. Episode 4 isn't just another action-packed chapter. It's the moment the entire season changes direction. Instead of preventing Apocalypse's rise, the X-Men accidentally become witnesses to his birth, proving that some events in history may simply be impossible to erase. At the same time, the episode gives us heartbreaking character moments. Rogue refuses to stop believing in hope, Xavier refuses to give up on compassion, and Magneto willingly sacrifices himself trying to fix a mistake he believes he caused. His death isn't just shocking. It marks the end of one of the greatest relationships in X-Men history. Now, all the timelines are finally pointing toward one inevitable conclusion. Apocalypse is coming to the present, Wolverine is preparing for war, Xavier has lost his oldest friend, and the X-Men are heading into what could be their biggest battle yet. And if Episode 4 is any indication, the rest of Season 2 is only going to get bigger, darker, and far more emotional. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your biggest theory in the comments. Do you think Magneto is truly gone, or could time travel still change his fate? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Good to see you again, Logan. Been a long time.
About 50 years.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.